And you're kind of alluding to this process around how you think through it. So let's make it a little bit more applicable to someone who might not have been through sort of the situation that you've been through. And by the way, thank you very much for sharing that. Holy smokes. So imagine you're talking to someone who's in business and they've hit a serious challenge where, to use your example, they might need to cut 20% of their workforce, right?
Yep.
And most people go and grab the tub of ice cream, eat the tub of ice cream, go, I'm not going to go.
Why do you always have to reference the thing I do when you bring this up? We put this on a podcast, Goose, and he brings it up. And you know what? A few people did send me photos of Connoisseur's ice cream because they're in the same camp, right? They do something similar. So to my people out there that don't mind a tub of Connoisseurs when things get hard, you know, like I'm with you. But anyway.
Yeah, so most people they go into a hole, they kind of recalibrate themselves, and then they choose the path, right?
Yeah.
And there's a meme that I always think about of these two guys, one in a suit, one on a homeless on a bench, and it's like, the caption is, I'm this way because my father's an alcoholic, right? Everyone has choices. But I want to understand, like, you've got this process that is applicable. Can you just walk us through? So use that example. They need to remove.
No, so this is great, right? Because it's like, it's one thing for me and it's another thing for, like, if someone came to me for advice, what would I tell them to do?
Exactly.
Right? And so the very first thing is you need to actually get some perspective, right? Because a lot of the time we're solving for the problem that isn't. And so a lot of it is fear driven. And so when fear starts to take hold and your amygdala starts firing, you'll start seeing things that aren't there. Like literally, you'll start seeing things that aren't there. I will talk from a very recent personal circumstance. Over the last couple of weeks, my mindset has been a little bit, let's just say I've went into a place where I was only seeing problems, not solutions. And I was looking at all this stuff and I was going, everything's like, we're dead. Thankfully, I've had enough goes of this roundabout that I was like, God damn it. I reckon there's a better than even chance that if I can shift my perspective, there's probably no problem. And lo and behold, I shifted my perspective and realized there was no problem other than the problem that I perceived. Okay, so that's the first thing. How do you actually know that this is a problem? And so there's 4 questions. So Byron Katie Katie's an author. She's got a great book called The Work. And the first thing I would suggest that people do when they face a big challenge, whether it's like got to lay off my team or like I think I might need to, like, let's reduce that down. I'm scared about money. Okay, like that's actually probably a better frame because you don't know if you need to lay off your team or not. So the very first question to ask yourself is this thought true? That's the very first question. Is this thought true? Okay, write that down. Then the next question is, how can I absolutely know that this is true? That's a very clarifying question because you might say, I'm going to run out of money. And it's like, well, how can I absolutely know that? Like, how can I remove all doubt that is fact? That requires that you go then do a whole bunch of work to validate that is true or not true. Usually, that will present some very enlightening outcomes where you might start to see some potential solutions. The next question is...
Can we just use an example around that? So you might say, oh, look, I'm scared of money here, and go, all right, that we recognize that. Is that thought true? And it might be, well, are you going to run out of money, I think was actually your question. And then you go, is this true? And then you look at your bank account and you go, all right, well, we might actually run out of money, but then the perspective shift might be, well, actually I could sell a property or get a loan. Like there's more money out there. Like it's not true that I might run out of this money, but it's not fact of all money.
Yeah, totally. Or like maybe do I just need to remove some of those expenses, or maybe it's just not that bad. Like maybe it's just not as bad as I think it is. Like maybe it's actually just not as bad as I think it is. And so you kind of start to open up all these possibilities. It's like, all right, maybe I'll run out of money if I keep spending money the way that I am spending it. But what if I just like tweaked these things? Maybe I don't even need to let anyone go. No, maybe we just like stop spending money in that area and maybe that's fine. And so
I could try Buller ice cream instead of Connoisseurs. We might get through, right? It's
I'll buy you. I got you covered, man.
Just sugar on ice blocks, like something like that might be an option as well.
That is the ice candy in the Philippines is shaved ice with a bit of cordial poured on top. There you go. I'll get you some of that, Charlie.
So the 4 questions. I've got a few things I want to get through, right? So, but the four questions are: is this thought true? The second one is, how can I absolutely know that this is true? And the third one is, what happens? What happens when I believe this thought? What happens when I believe the thought? And usually what happens when you believe the thought is you're going to be stressed, you're going to be upset, you're going to be depressed and whatever. And then the fourth question is, who would I be without that thought? That is the best way that you can start to detach yourself from the emotions related to the things you're thinking about, because nothing has any emotion other than that with which you give it. Nothing has any emotion. There is no good, there is no bad, there is just things. And so a perceived financial issue might actually not even be a financial issue, or it could just be hey, currently our expenses are greater than our income. Okay, well, that's not necessarily a problem. That's just a fact. Okay, well, if I don't have any emotion around that, then what are the various ways that I could solve that specific issue in my business, right? Versus, oh my God, I'm going to fail. We're running out of money. Oh, we're not making enough money. So just ask yourself, firstly, is it true? How do you know if it's true, right? Who would you be, and how do you feel when you have that thought, and who would you be without that thought? Once you take that away, you start to then look at things as they are, not as your emotions tell you they should be, right? Which is really, really, really important and clarifying. Once you can look at problems from that perspective, then you can change the way that you think about approaching and solving them.
Hey, fellow business owner, if this topic and value-packed short video has resonated with you at all, and you want to dive deeper into creating wealth inside and outside your business, check out the full episode by clicking the link on your screen or in the description right now.